Hello, hello, hello. Angel here. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're new, welcome too. Thank you for stopping, clicking and watching. So today we're doing a VR2 5-4-3-2-1 tarot. 5 tarot decks, 4 tarot books, 3 spreads, 2 tarot habits, and 1 tarot card that I associate myself with. So I've been tagged by 2 different people, as far as I know. The first one was MZ at MZ Mystic. They tagged me in their video response, and even Sylvie from Magpie Tarot. So here I am. Yeah, let's jump straight in. Okay, so bit of a tangent. I'm a cat mum. No, I'm not a cat mum. I'm lying. I don't call myself a cat mum. I call myself a cat slave. I'm their cat staff, cat personnel. 2 kitty cats, which I really do like to love and hug and squeeze, much to their disgust. When I pick up my kitty cats and, I want to, give them a little bit of a cuddle, they, stick their paws against my face and like, you stinky human, get away from us. And I was kind of thinking about that, that in that thread, and I came upon tarot decks that also I want to love and hug and squeeze. And much to my disgust, they are not having any of it. So those are the 5 decks I'm showing today. The 5 decks I want to love and hug and squeeze, but that just don't want me to love and hug and squeeze them. They don't want to hug and love and squeeze me back. So that was a long intro, but the first deck I'm going to show you is this one, the Tarot of the Abyss. I so want to love and I want to hug and I want to squeeze, but it just is not having any of it. I've edged mine in black. This is a mass market deck. These are the backs. And it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Black and white deck, or black and cream deck, actually, I would say. I've tried to work with it. I love the artwork. I'm usually a really colourful deck kind of person, but this does not bother me at all. I don't know what it is. What is the problem? This reminds me of Jamie from Outlander. That's just by the by. Love the Lover's card. But what is the problem? Why does this deck not want to love me back? I don't understand. And I've even tried to, add some colour to this deck by colouring in certain aspects in each of the cards. And that hasn't helped either. So I don't know what it is. And I don't want to give up on it because, what can I say? I don't really know what to say. I'm going to continue, I think, colouring in these cards. And one day, one faraway day, I know that this deck is going to start calling to me. I'm keeping my fingers and my toes and my legs and my arms crossed because, I'm totally going to be loving and hugging and squeezing this deck sometime in the future. Okay, that was the Tarot of the Abyss. The next one, I've spoken about this one in my videos before. This is the Moon Power Tarot. This is an indie deck. What can I say? These are the beautiful backs. It's got some beautiful gilding, which is like gold and a little bit sparkly. And I love the images. What is the problem, you might ask? I asked myself the same question. This just does not want to speak to me, this deck. Now, I use this for my dark moon readings, and I tried and I tried. It just falls flat for me. Oh, looky here. Excuse me. What can I say? Where was I? Yeah. So it's another one that does not just doesn't talk to me. And I do not want to rehome it. And I'm under the impression that one day, as mentioned with the other deck, this is just going to call to me, and we're going to have an excellent, amazing journey together. And until that day comes, I'm just going to pull out the box, every so often, and take a look at this gorgeous artwork, and hope that I hear its voice soon. So yeah, that's that one. That was the Moon Power Tarot. The third one, this was a deck that was out of print when I bought it. This is the Kitty Kahan Kitty Kahane Tarot, maybe it's called. This is the German version. I bought it when it was out of print in English, so I bought this one instead. These are the backs. Look at these. They are gorgeous. Haven't edged mine. Haven't used it. Why? Why have I not used it? I don't know. It doesn't call to me. And I love the artwork. I love the playful style of it. I love that it feels quite, I don't mean this negatively, but simplistic. The art style feels quite simplistic. That I don't mean that, you know, negatively as I mentioned. But I don't know. I just don't feel drawn to work with it. And I've thought about cutting the titles off, because this deck is very Rider-Waite-Smith. But I don't think it's that either. I don't think it's that the titles are in German, because, you know, or a different language, because I have other decks that are in different languages, and that doesn't bother me either. So I think it's just we're not connecting or something. I don't know. It's all very bizarre. Look at this. I love this. So cool. Favourite card in the deck, as always, the Tower card. Yeah, so I don't know what to say. I've got no explanation. I've got no reason behind it. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. But I'm not giving up. I'm going to love and hug and squeeze this deck, much to its disgust, no doubt, like my cats, when I try and love and hug and squeeze them. Anyway, what are we on, the third deck, fourth deck? Fourth deck, third deck, fourth deck, I don't know. I'm sure you haven't lost count like I have. This is the Tarot de... What's this one? Tarot de Carlotides, I think it's called, mass market. Gorgeous. Beautiful backs. Beautiful fronts. Beautiful pictures. Do you think I can read with it? No, I'm unfortunately I cannot. It doesn't talk to me. But I want it to, because they're gorgeous. These images are fantastic. They are so beautiful. And I've tried several times with this deck. I've, you know, taken it out and what's the word? Tried to read with it, and it just is not giving me anything. It's very frustrating. I love this Lover's card, the kiss, Gustav Klimt vibe going on. So it's back in order again, because, you know, if you've seen in my videos, I do put my decks back in order to reset the energy when I stop using them, when they go out of rotation. And I just, you know, I just want to use it. I want it to talk to me. I want it to, you know, give me its messages. I love this. Take up more. This is beautiful. And, you know, obviously not all decks are for us. But why can't these 5 be for me? Oh dear, I don't know. I'm not, as I mentioned, I'm not rehoming it. It's going to just wait on my shelf until it decides that, you know, we can talk and work together. The last one is this one. I've also spoken about this one before, I'm sure I have. Forest of Enchantment Tarot. Oh, I want to love it. I do. I do. But it's just, no. It's just not gelling, it's not vibing, it's not lighting my candle, it's not floating my boat, it's not on my alley. And as you can see, it's back in order again. I'm sure you've seen this deck before. You might even own it. It's beautiful. Love this. But it just does not talk to me. But sooner or later, it will. It has to. It must. Generally in my life, I'm not the kind of person that holds on to things. You know, like, you know, gets their claws in or grabs onto something and like holds it. I'm like, you know, yeah, that's fine. Things come and go. That's fine. I'm not bothered. But tarot decks, I'm not letting go of any of them. I want them all to work for me. But, you know, what can I say? Anyway, that was 5 tarot decks. We're moving along to, what did we say? 4 books. Yeah, let's have a look at the books. Okay, so 5 books. We're starting with this one, Tarot and Astrology. This book is a book that sits beside me basically anytime that I'm, you know, doing my readings. I'm doing Marlena Teresa's Deacon Walk. I'm not really sure how you say it still. And so this I use it very, very often. It's sitting right by my tarot reading desk to, what's the word, to delve into, dip into, whenever the fancy takes me, basically, and whenever I'm working with the deacons or generally with any readings. This is a really, really good book, I think. I'll put some sticky tabby bits in just to have a bit of a quick reference. Yeah, I really enjoy this book. I do use it in combination or in conjunction with 2 other books. So this is the first one, Tarot and Astrology. I bought it quite a while ago and didn't dip into it straight away. And then once I started with the Deacons, or the Decans, the Decamorg, that's when I started to delve into that book. And it's by my desk, as mentioned, all the time. This is the next one, Decoding Esoteric Symbolism in Modern Tarot, Tarot Deciphered. Same again, I've put my tabs in my books for easy reference. This is a really great book. There's a lot of information, goes into a lot of information. You've got card number, planet, and dignities, Hebrew letter meaning, the path, themes and keywords. Then it goes on to astrology elements, mythology and alchemy, Kabbalah. Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism here. You've got Rider-Waite-Smith. It even goes into Thoth, which I don't tend to dip into because I don't read the Thoth. But this is a really chunky monkey. I haven't read it cover to cover. I haven't read Tarot and Astrology cover to cover either. I just dip into it when I need it for the specific card I'm working with. Hey up, we might have another visit from a fluffy kitty cat, just to warn you. The next book I'm going to show you is another book that is by my desk all the time. That is Your Tarot Court by Ethany. I have real trouble with the court cards, remembering the meaning still. I've only been reading tarot for maybe it's 2.5 years, coming up to 3. I'm not really sure. But the tarot courts, they just do not want to stick in my brain. I really enjoy this book. This is another one that I haven't read cover to cover. I dip in, I dip out whenever I'm working with the courts. And I really enjoy this book, especially because let's see if I can find it here. For instance, look at the King of Pentacles here. My piece of wood's in the way. What's going on here? Let's do that. And now my kitty cat started. It's all falling apart here. Okay, so the King of Pentacles, you've got a bit of an image. It tells you exactly what tarot the images are from. You've got some keywords. The astrological sign that card is in. The archetype, which I think is really helpful. So, for instance, the King of Pentacles is the manager. Then you've got, if that card turns up in love and relationships, what it could possibly mean. Work and career. Indicators that you are a King of Pentacles manager archetype. The strength, the shadow side, what it means in a tarot reading. And then even, I think it's a bit further on in the book here, you've even got some questions. Let me just see if I can find it. I should have prepared this earlier. Why did I not do that? Doobie. You even have, bear with. Bear with, if I can find it. You even have, for each court card, questions, follow-up questions that you can ask if you pull that card in your reading. Let me not keep you waiting. Okay, time is money and all that. Sorry to keep you waiting. Okay, so for instance, if the King of Pentacles comes up in a position that requires an outcome, action, or the next step forward, consider these actions as suggestions to move into the archetype's power. Ask yourself, am I taking responsibility for my life and situation? Do the numbers, check your risks and blind spots, and only do what is practically sound. Ask, what would Gordon Gekko from Wall Street do? Work with the character of the archetype and pop culture representations of that character to gain in-depth answers and options for moving forward. Okay, and then we even have a tarot pop culture representations chapter where it gives you, for instance, the King of Swords, the archetype, the scientist or specialist, and then it even gives you some examples of those. So we've got Oh, I don't know who this is. Oh, this is from Game of Thrones. I don't know Game of Thrones. Sorry. We've got Spock from Star Trek, and we've got like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, Bruce Banner, who's the Hulk, Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. So it kind of gives you some examples of the different archetypes, which I think is really useful, really helpful actually, to think of the court cards in that way. Maybe it helps it stick in your mind. Not me so much, but possibly others with a better memory. Anyway, love this book. Find it really, really helpful, and it's on my or by my tarot desk all the time. I think this is the latest book that I purchased, The Ultimate Guide to Tarot by Liz Dean. This was an eBay find, secondhand find. I've also been working with this one. Very, very interesting information. You've got a colour picture. You've got some basic information. What's the word? Name of the card. The astrological sign, the element, the Hebrew letter, the chakra, key meanings. Then you go into quite a lot of information on each of the cards. And then you even have a spread for each of the major arcanas in this book. So there's some really, really good information in this one, I've got to say. I've been working through this one slowly as well. I purchased this one because it was I'm going to say a recommendation. Candy from Candy Soul and Soil has mentioned this book very, very often on her channel, and so I saw it come up on eBay, and I thought, why not? It's at a good price. It's a pre-loved book. I'm going to do it. So I purchased it. So the court cards are also very, very good. You've got a basic understanding. You've got an upright and a reversed. There aren't any. Way up. Excuse me, sorry to be in your way. You don't have any spreads for this for the minors, but for the majors, it's a really good exercise, I feel, to get a bit more acquainted with each of the minors. That was that one. If I've counted correctly, that was 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, and the final book I'm going to show you is Tarot for Change. Bit of a story with this book, of course. I have an ancestral practice, and this was quite a few months ago. I was sitting working with some things concerning my ancestors, reading some tarot cards, and I'd received some really not very nice news about my family. Anyway, and so I was working on some a healing spread for my family, and how to how to work around that, and how to heal what had happened. Anyway, that's by the by. Anyway, so I'd made a cup of coffee, which was sitting on a saucer on my tarot desk, and I was sitting there, and I was very, very upset because this piece of news that I'd received was not very nice, and I was kind of talking to my ancestors, and then drawing some tarot cards, and a book fell from my shelf, which totally scared the bejesus out of me, because I was by myself, and obviously I was upset, and I was asking for help from my ancestors, and this book, falling randomly from my tarot shelf above my desk, fell on top of the cup, and I thought it'd broken the cup first of all, and it really shocked me. And once the initial shock had gone, I thought, oh my goodness, my cup, my cup's broken, and there's going to be coffee everywhere, and it hadn't broken the cup at all. So I lifted the book off, put it by my side, carried on with my spread. And then a few seconds later, a crystal fell from the shelf above my head into my cup, into the same cup. And the crystal was probably like a tumbled stone. And I was like, oh, bleep, bleep, bleep. It's gone and broken my cup again. So I fished the stone out, the cup was fine. And I suddenly thought, that's 2 things that have fallen from the shelf. Why are these things falling from the shelf? So I look up on the shelf, and I start scanning what is on that shelf. And this book catches my eye, Tarot for Change. So I draw this book down, and I start reading the entries for the cards. And I believe it was the Empress that I pulled. I'm sure it was the Empress that I pulled at that time. And it was this description, the information in this book. It just so calmed me down, and made so much sense to me that, not to be too woo, but it felt like it was a bit of a sign, like first a book falling from the shelf, and then a crystal falling from the shelf into my cup, and it was like, hello, can you, pay attention? We're trying to give you a sign here of what's going to help you. You're asking for us to help. You're asking for a sign. Here's your sign. We can't give you more of a sign than this. So anyway, so whenever I'm, whenever I'm looking for some deeper, not deeper advice, that's the wrong thing to say. Whenever I'm, I wouldn't just use this for an everyday reading, I would use this more for reflection or trauma work or healing work. I'm just going to say that. It's an amazing book. I really like it. I would definitely recommend it. I don't really know what else I can say about it, to be honest. It's got a full page picture here, and then it's there's no keywords or anything like that. How can I explain it? It feels like, it's not just information. It feels like more like I'm explaining this very, very badly. I felt like this book was talking me down off of a ledge, not, a theoretical ledge. It kind of pulled me back to kind of come into myself again and, ground myself and to think, right, okay, let's look at this with different eyes. Let's be reasonable. Let's see things from a different perspective. That's what this book did for me. So I would really recommend this book for anyone getting into tarot or reading tarot. So yeah, there you go. Those were 4 books. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I show you 5 books? Oh, what an nincompoop! I think I showed you one more than I should have done. Oh well, you got a free one. Buy one, get one free. Bog off. Let's do the next prompt, which is 3 tarot spreads. Okay, so I'm going to be a bit of a cheeky monkey now, and I'm going to slightly rearrange the prompts. So we're going with 3 tarot habits. 3 tarot habits that I have. I always light my ancestral candle when I do a reading. This is the candle that I have. What's the word? Dedicated to my ancestors. I love it. It's got little, I feel like Wee Willie Winky running through the streets or running through the town in his nightgown. Do you know that rhyme? Never mind, that's by the by. Anyway, this is the candle that I've dedicated to my ancestors, and I always have my crystals I also wear with my ancestors. I like this candle always when I am doing my tarot readings. I usually, another habit is that I light incense. These are my favourite incense at the moment. I usually have incense burning when I'm doing my readings. And my 3rd tarot habit, let's pop those out of the way, or maybe pop them there for a wee moment. I always use my tarot journal. This is a black journal that's cheap as chips. It's a hardbound journal. Yeah, no fluff, no frills, just bog standard journal. But it does the job and it works. So I always write my tarot pulls down in my journal. Because I find it really helpful when you're looking back in the future and maybe noticing synchronicities that you didn't notice at the time. So those are my 3 tarot habits. 2. Does that mean I've got to do 2 tarot cards? Oh, I don't know about that. 2 tarot cards that I associate myself with at the moment. That's a great prompt. Let's do that. Okay, so I've been working a lot in September with the Tarot of Mystical Moments. This tarot deck is the deck that I have, there goes that word again, dedicated to my ancestors. These are the 2 cards I'm working with currently, the Star and the 4 of Pentacles. Without going into too much detail, there's a lot going on this month. Has been a lot going on this month, and these were the 2 cards that I drew after those things that have been happening kind of calmed down. So I'm pretty much this month working with me, myself, and I being my home. Let me see if I can explain this, in an excellent way, so you can understand where I'm going with this. And so these cards really resonated with me. And these are the tarot cards that I pulled, but this was the actual oracle card that I pulled at the same time. So this is sitting on my altar space at the minute, and I'm doing a working with these cards. Anyway, so this speaks to me very much about home and hope, and you know, do we have another visitor? We do. Hello, nice to see you. Sorry to be in your way. I do apologise. This speaks to me a lot about, you know, being very closed off for way too long. It's time to, you know, break open the doors and open myself up. I do understand that, and this means a lot. You know, it makes a total sense to me. I pulled these both at the same time, and being the fact that they're both have these almost like buildings or homes in both of the images really spoke to me. So hope and opening myself up and not being closed off and not trying to keep everything to myself, and, you know, being able to share myself more is something that I'm really working with after a lot of trauma and upset and hurt has been going on in my life. Is that a terrible explanation? I feel like it's a terrible explanation. It might make more sense if you've seen any of my other videos, and if you haven't, it will make no sense at all. But it makes sense to me. These two cards are the cards that I'm working with right at this moment. Anyway, yes, and the last prompt, which should have been 2 prompts ago, was spreads. Now, I'm going to say that I don't tend to work with tarot spreads particularly very much. I tend to draw an oracle card and build my spread around the oracle card that I've drawn. So when I drew this card, I was already working with me, myself and I being my home, where I live, and where others, you know, where I give access to other people to my home, as it were. I'm explaining this very badly, I know, I can feel it. Anyway, and then I build my spread around a tarot card. So those are the spreads that I generally do. I am a weaver in Dawn Michelle's weaver group, so we do get a lot of spreads and things to work from or with from from Dawn Michelle's weaver group, which I obviously do. I really enjoy that. But generally, if I'm just working and I want answers to things, I tend to not really work with spreads particularly very often. So yeah, that felt like a very rambly video. Apologies if you haven't seen any of my videos before. Well, you know, that's pretty much how it always is. I forget my words and I forget what I'm talking about and I ramble. But you know, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. So yes, so there we go. That or those were the 5 prompts. So the only thing that's left now is to tag 5 new people, or 5 people to do the tag. So the first person I'm going to tag is Liz at West Star Tarot. I've been watching their videos, their culling videos at the moment, and I would really love to know what their choices would be after they've culled so many decks in their collection. Candy at Candy's Soul and Soil, Lisa at Mythical Witchery. I'd love to know what their choices were. Carrie at Carrie's Mystical Musings, and even Brittany at Bright Light. Go to their channel, give their channel some love, show some appreciation if you would like to, like and subscribe to them. Yeah. And otherwise, all that's left for me to say is have a lovely morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care. Thank you very much for being here, spending some time with me. Take care. Hope to see you next time. Toodaloo.